Greetings, loved ones. Today we are going to talk about coercive control and how abusers speak. If you listen carefully, you might be able to identify specific words that spell control or worse. Please help us get these messages out. Subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit the like button and the notification bell, and please share these messages with others. You never know, just by doing so, you could save a life. DomesticShelters.org has another great article on coercive control that I want to share with you. It says, we all know that sticks and stones can do, but the second part of that saying is not exactly true. Words do hurt. Some survivors have told DomesticShelters.org that words can hurt just as much or more than physical abuse. And a survey on DomesticShelters.org showed 62% of survivors said that verbal abuse felt more damaging than physical violence. Unlike a bruise or broken bone that eventually heals, degrading comments can reverberate inside a person's conscience for a lifetime. Beyond words as weapons, abusers will also use words of control. By threatening a survivor with harm if he or she leaves, to demanding to know where a survivor is at all times, words can almost be just as powerful as a locked cage. DomesticShelters.org asked survivors on their Victims and Survivors Community Facebook page for some examples of things abusers have said to them. Here are some early red flag words. The earlier you can spot abusive behavior in a partner, the better chance you have at safely getting out of that relationship. So make sure to trust your gut when you hear phrases like this. Where were you today? I tried calling. Why didn't you answer? And this is after 15 missed calls in a few hours. Why did you make me do that? You don't love me as much as I love you. No one will ever understand you like I do. If you loved me, you'd do this. All the women before me were cold and not as invested in the relationship as he was. If you want more insight into an abusive partner, read and then watch Netflix You, which is a roadmap to dating violence. Abusers who coercively control their victims use words to degrade. Verbal abuse can lower a partner's self-esteem, and this is something an abuser is counting on. When a survivor's self-esteem plummets, that survivor may depend on an abuser to define their self-worth, thinking, what can I do to prove I'm not as bad as they say? And this results in a maddening, approval-seeking cycle that can keep a survivor trapped indefinitely. Here's some things coercive control abusers say, so listen to these carefully. You're a crazy bad mom. No wonder you're losing all your friends. You're no fun. You're a piece of trash. Coercive control abusers also use words to shame. We've all said something we regret at one point or another, but the trademark of verbal and emotional abuse is a pattern. Abusers don't just lose their temper once. They systematically shame and insult their partner over and over and over again, usually without regret and always without reason. One survivor, Brianne, a victim of violence, says her abusive partner repeatedly told her she never did anything right. And she says, so it was best if I didn't do anything to help. But then he would turn around and berate me for being lazy and not helping. The house was never clean enough, even though one could practically eat off the floor. Let the truck sound go by. If a partner's words make you feel shame, I'll say this again. If a partner's words make you feel shame, lower your self-worth, or make you question what it is you did wrong on a near constant basis, you could be dealing with an abusive partner. So here's some more examples from survivors. This is what their abusers said to them. You're always creating drama, making a big deal out of nothing, starting a fight, trying to get the last word in. If you leave me, no one else will want you. You're not smart, successful, strong enough to survive without me. You need to go on a diet. Why don't you look as hot as you did when we first met? Don't gain too much weight when you're pregnant. You're such a slut. You dress like a whore. This is why no one likes you. You know these words. If they've been said to you, you're suffering coercive control. Coercive control abusers use words to control their victims. Dr. Lisa Aronson Fontes writes in Resisting Control When It's Disguised as Love that occasional acts of kindness are a grooming strategy to retain control and make a partner stay in the relationship. An abuser may intersperse loving acts with angry outbursts, sexual coercion, and manipulation, producing a kind of emotional whiplash in his partner. Control is not always outright, aka don't wear that, don't go there, don't speak to him. Sometimes, as Fontes says, it's disguised as concern. So what is the indicator that red flags control? If you feel anxiety or fear about making a choice because you're afraid your partner is going to get mad at you, you may be under their control. Here are some more examples of controlling words. You can go, but I don't want you to go. You don't need to work right now. The kids need you. Couples don't have secrets. I need to be able to read your texts or emails whenever I want to. You'd be much more pretty if I bring the money into this house, so I decide. I'll give you money to spend. You don't need to worry about a bank account. How much did you spend? I need to see all your receipts. Does this sound familiar? Coercive control abusers also use words to deflect blame. Abusers are notorious for not taking any responsibility for their choices. Don't forget, abuse is a choice. It's never a survivor's fault, even though that's exactly what an abuser may try to make a survivor believe. An abuser may also blame their abusive actions on drugs and alcohol, stress, mental illness, or childhood trauma. While these factors can perpetrate abuse, they do not cause abusive behavior. It's important to remember there are plenty of individuals who have a few drinks and don't start berating others. There are plenty of cases of individuals who have survived childhood domestic violence and have not gone on to abuse others. And this deflecting blame can sound like the following phrases. Listen carefully. Look what you made me do. It's your fault I drink. I was only trying to help. You're oversensitive. You always play the victim. I'm only happy when you're happy. It was just a fight. But did you tell them why I did that? Did you tell them I was a victim of abuse as a child? You're not giving them the whole picture. You're making me feel like a monster. You're too sensitive. You're looking for the bad in what I'm saying like your mom does. Is any of this familiar to you? Abusers are not the only ones who try to blame survivors. Sometimes those outside the relationship may use victim blaming as well. Coercive control abusers fall into an escalation of words. In a teaching titled Abuse Almost Always Escalates, which we've already done, we talked about how an abuser rarely stops abusive behavior, but rather is more likely to ramp it up as the relationship progresses. Most terrifying is the fact that left unchecked, abuse can escalate from harmful words to violent physical aggression and even murder. Watch out for phrases that clearly spell out an abuser's plans for the future, such as these. Listen carefully. Just try to leave me. You'll regret it. You have no idea what I'm capable of. You think you got it bad? I can show you bad. I'll take everything away from you if you leave me. I'll take the house, the kids, the car. You'll have nothing. You're the crazy one. No one will let you have custody of the kids. You know I can get a gun. You know I have a gun. Does any of this sound familiar? With 1 in 3 women experiencing domestic violence worldwide, the question is not if you will encounter a victim of violence. The question before God is what will you do when you do encounter them? You could be the person who saves a life. You are called. We are all called to be champions for justice. Those who suffer violence, they need to know that those who love them, and even those who don't even know them, will step out and reach out to them to give them the help and the courage they need to leave before it's too late. Help us get these messages out. Please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit the like button and the notification bell, and please share these messages with others. You never know, just by doing so, you could save a life. If you're a victim of violence, listen to me. You've been lied to over and over. I want you to know the truth. The truth is that you are valued. You are loved. You are intelligent, and you are beautiful. God does not want you to suffer violence. He wants you to live free from violence in peace and tranquility. There is a way out. It is not your fault, and abuse is not love. If you're a victim of violence, please reach out to someone. If you find yourself in a dangerous situation, call 911 for help. Next week, we will take a series of tests to determine if you are in a coercive control relationship, and we will also do a danger assessment to determine the level of danger in your relationship. Until then, God bless you.